Good morning, everybody. It's Mike. It is Friday, the 13th of June, and this is your morning setup. It's been a long night. A lot of people probably looking in markets, watching the news, seeing what's going on. Israel has attacked Iran, hit their nuclear weapons facilities, and flew over 200 planes, and 100 sites were hit, including evidently they did a hell of a job of targeting their ballistic missile launchers. Um, Ongoing attacks continue. Iran lost several key military members, many scientists, and launched 100 drones in retaliation so far, which was nothing. None of them made it to Israel. The question is, where do we go from here? Does this stop? And that's what everybody's going to be wondering. And as we go out through today into the weekend, and that's probably going to make today a little bit of a difficult day because people are not going to want to be long going over the weekend. I'm going to tell you things are not all that bad out there. Could this escalate and cascade? Absolutely could. But when we go over this, you're going to see the market's response here is not nearly as bad as you would think would be. On top of that, we have Michigan consumer inflation expectations today and Michigan consumer sentiment, Baker Hughes rate count. So let's take this and go into this, and let's just start real quick. And let's start with the ES. We'll come back to crude. So the ES, yep, we got a spike down. We're off the lows, but we're not down that much. Came down and bounced off the 21 day. This is not a huge candle. We're not even down five, all that much here anymore. Same thing on the NQ. Right? It came down, bounced off that area. I had crude up for a reason. Crude initially spiked all the way up to 77.62 and has come way off the highs. If the market was extremely concerned, and this will be wary to watch today, the market's extremely concerned about what's going to happen over there. Oil is going to go nuts. Oil will shoot up over $100 a barrel. That said, right now the market's saying this is not a major concern at the moment. Okay. And it's up, yep, but it's not up as much. It's come off the highs. We'll see. Doesn't mean it's going to maintain it. Bonds, I would expect to be flying. They're not. Gold up. That one's moving. All-time high close there. Bitcoin, not a safe haven, is down with the markets. The VIX, it's up. Is it up as much as I thought it'd be? Nope, it's not. And interesting, we have a major disconnect here. You look at the VIX itself, it's holding up at these levels. The VIX futures, VX, came way off the highs after hitting 2280. So we have a disconnect here between the two. We'll have to see how that's going to play out. All right, but overall, VIX is not acting all that bad. All right, HYG yesterday, moving the markets, the transports. Okay, also, holding in the dollar here this morning. Not a heck of a lot going on there. All right, so when you look at all this, not a lot going on. The market yesterday didn't seem extremely concerned about this, and certainly doesn't seem to be extremely concerned about it here overnight. Sentiment barely changed yesterday. We had a couple minor changes here, but not a lot. If you look at the oscillators, plus 54 on the NASDAQ, positive side of neutral, and on the New York Stock Exchange, plus 57, the same thing. Your advanced decline lines kind of either flattened out, small caps rolled down, but overall held in yesterday. Highs versus lows on the S&P 500, plus 53 versus 12, they remained strong. And on the NASDAQ, plus 57 versus 62. These are good numbers. Put to call, neutral. Right? There was no big rush for puts yesterday. And market breadth, you have a pause on the NASDAQ, whereas the New York Stock Exchange put a new all-time high. Now, obviously, these are all going to come lower on the open. We're going to have to see what we're going to do today. And I would have your head on a swivel, man. Patience and think here today, right? Think here. We're going to be reacting. The market's going to be react mode. It's going to be reacting to additional attacks by Israel against Iran, which there's probably going to be more because they're going to continue to hit these sites to make sure they took them out. And any kind of retaliation by Iran and whether the U.S. does. So far, the U.S. is trying to say we're not involved in this. As long as we stays the case and we stay out of this, it's probably just going to stay confined. All right. That said, when you're launching missiles and drones and aircraft from across those distances, across other countries' airspace, things can go really wrong. That's the danger. All right. So here we are. SPY came down, 591 bounced. Here is your 3% pullback level, and we're already above it. We're back at 597. So, if the market decides it wants to run and gets this thing gets above 597.50 area, really could take off here, right? Could take back off, come all the way back up. Your 8-day would be the first test. That's at 599. overall, the market was holding fine, came down overnight, held there. So we'll see. If we can't hold a 21 day, then we have problems, right? So you would look for a failure of the 21 day, a close under it would say, okay, we have a problem here. So, today's one of those days I can go looking around and I'll tell you, I don't know what I want or what I'm interested in here today at this point. And we're just going to have to play it as we go. Energy stocks are up, but look at how far they've come off already. Chevron, I outlined it, 151 is the area I like it above. Otherwise, it may drift down to 145. Oxy, I don't charge, but a little bit stronger here because of all of the shale-based oil, right? Oxy might be a nice winner. 48 area above it wouldn't be bad. Nice little move up here, and it's trying to trade above the 200 day if it can do that. Same thing with Exxon Mobil, right? This is kind of like a safety trade today if they want to come here. Speaking of that, Clorox not doing anything about Pepsi. None of these names, right? These safety trade names are not doing much. Gold, gold could be a play today. So you guys would like to play gold above 316, then over 317. I like that for the all-time high. Boeing, no new news out of there other than that India may ground the Dreamliner fleet. We'll see what the news comes out. And, we'll just look around here. The SMHs here, they're down, right? Everything's down here, not down all that much. We'll see what it does. Nvidia was so strong trying to break that 145 level yesterday. It's trading back into the 142, 141.75 is my my buy trigger for the day. See what it wants to do. That 145 area is a beast. Right? I have 144.50 as my point of control, and 145. And I don't even know why I have. Where is it? There you go. 145 is your sell trigger. It's got to clear that. Okay. AMD getting a no love off that yesterday. I think it come down to the 114.77. Tesla had news out overnight. They have updated a couple of their cars. In the US, the Model S and Model X, and with a $5,000 price hike, Tesla down here trading back into the 309 area. So again, we talked about it coming down and retesting the 8-day, the 200-day, and here we are into it right now. We're into this area. We'll see what it wants to do. 306 comes down there. We'll see if we hold there. That would be a spot to watch. Microsoft beaten down 471 right on the 8-day area here this morning after an all-time high yesterday. Again, we'll see how it responds. Names like Walmart, not much going on. They've been kind of stuck, couldn't break out into that gap again, rejected and came down. Same thing with Costco. These guys are just mostly just quiet here, but holding in. So, for me today, guys, I'm not going to go through a lot of charts here because I don't think that's going to help us until we see how this market reacts today. So nice and easy, take deep breaths. Don't feel you need to jump on everything. Opportunities will present themselves both long and short. Again, I don't think this gets resolved today, so I would expect people are not going to want to go out long this market overnight. Iran is going to figure out some way to move things around and retaliate. Israel's still operating inside Iran at this point. And, we'll see what's going to happen here. Israel seems to right now have control of their airspace. I'll catch you guys live starting at 9.